There's a letter people in their 60s dread. It shows up in the mailbox from Social Security and it says you were overpaid and now you owe them money. Thousands sometimes. And the story people tell themselves when that letter lands is the same one I want to tear up right now. The story goes like this: I went back to work, I earned a little too much, and Social Security took my check. And it's gone for good. No, that is not what happens. I'll say it plainly because you've probably had it backwards for years. They are not taking your check forever. Some of it gets held back, yes, but the part almost nobody explains is the whole reason I'm making this. The money that gets held back comes back to you. Stay with me, and I'll show you exactly how with real numbers, the kind you can do at your own kitchen table. So if you claimed Social Security early at 62 and you're still working, or you lost a job and you're thinking about going back, this is for you. Subscribe before you go because by the end of this, you'll be able to look at a job offer and decide yes or no without that knot in your stomach. That's the promise. Let me earn it. Now, who's actually scared here? By one AARP survey, only about 29% of adults correctly understand how working affects their Social Security check, roughly 3 in 10. Sit with that. Most people walking around with this fear are working off a wrong map, and the wrong map costs real money. People cut their hours, they turn down a promotion, they leave their own retirement savings sitting untouched, all to stay under a line they don't even understand. Here's what I'm going to give you, and I want you to hold me to it. The exact dollar figure for 2026. The math on what gets held back, so you can run your own situation. What income counts and what income absolutely does not. A special rule for the year you reach full retirement age that almost nobody talks about. And then the big one. The thing at full retirement age that gives the held back money back to you. And that overpayment letter, we'll get to it. I'll show you why it happens and exactly how to make sure you never get one. Promise. Let's start with the number because that's what you came for. For 2026, if you're under full retirement age for the whole year, you can earn up to $24,480 from work. That's the line, $24,480. Under that, nothing happens. Earn every dollar of it. Your check is your check, untouched. Go over it, and here's the rule. For every $2 you earn above that limit, Social Security holds back $1 of your benefits. One for every 2 over. Not 1 for 1. Half of the overage. Write that down if you need to. Let me walk a real one. Say you claimed at 62 and your benefit is $1,800 a month. And you take a job and over the year you earn $30,000. Okay, $30,000 minus the limit of $24,480, that's $5,520 over the line. Now cut that in half because it's 1 for every 2. 5,520 divided by 2 is $2,760. That's what gets held back for the year, not your whole check. $2,760. Feel that shift? A second ago, they take my check was a wall of fear. Now it's arithmetic. And you can do arithmetic. You've done harder math balancing a checkbook. Let me say that even plainer, because this is the engine of the whole thing, and I want it to stick. You don't lose a dollar for every dollar you earn over the line. You lose 50 cents on the dollar, and only on the part that's over. Earn $1 too much, they hold back 50 cents. Earn 100 too much, they hold back 50. The money you earn is still mostly yours. Working over the limit almost never leaves you worse off than not working at all. That's worth knowing before you ever turn down a shift. But before you run your own numbers, pay attention to which dollars count here and which ones don't. That one distinction is where I see people lose money for no reason at all. Hang on to that. I'm coming back to it, and it might be the most useful 5 minutes in this whole video. First though, there's a mix-up about that limit that costs people real peace of mind. A lot of folks hear $24,480 and think it's a monthly thing or a per paycheck thing. It is not. It's an annual number. The whole year added up, January through December. And here's how Social Security actually applies it which surprises almost everyone. They don't shave a little slice off every check. They hold back whole checks, one at a time, starting at the beginning of the year until they've recovered what's owed. Then your checks come back to normal for the rest of the year. Picture it. Say your benefit is $800 a month and you earn $33,400 that year. That's $8,920 over the limit. Cut in half, that's $4,460 to be held back. At $800 a check, that's about 5 or 6 full months with no check at all, and then the rest of the year your check shows up like normal. So it's not a permanent little bleed off every payment. It's a stretch of skipped checks up front, then back to normal. Same total either way, but knowing it works in a block helps you plan the year. Now there's one year where this rule bends in your favor, and it can save you real money. But hold that thought, because before I get there, I have to clear up what actually counts as earnings. That's the thing I promised you. But first, the letter. Let me close that loop because it's the one that keeps people up at night. Here's why that overpayment notice happens. When you claim, or at the start of the year, Social Security asks you to estimate what you expect to earn. That's it, a guess. And if you guess low, they pay you as if you're under the limit, all year long. Then your W-2 lands months later, the real number's higher than your guess, and they send the letter asking for the difference back. That's the whole mechanism. It's not a punishment. It's a paperwork gap between what you thought you'd earn and what you actually did. So here's how you never get one. Tell them your honest estimate up front. And if your income changes during the year, you got more hours, you picked up a second job, call them and update it. That's it. You close the gap before it opens. Of everything in this video, the scary letter is the one thing you can completely prevent, and now you know how. Okay, now the relief I promised. This is the part where a lot of you are going to exhale. When Social Security looks at whether you're over the limit, they count almost nothing but the money you earn from working. Your wages, your salary. If you're self-employed, your net profit. Bonuses, commissions, vacation pay, those count too because they're pay for work. If you do a job and somebody hands you money for it, that's what counts. Keep that simple test in your head. Did I work for it? Now here's what does not count. And read my lips on this one, because this is where people leave money sitting idle for no reason. Your pension does not count. Your 401k withdrawals do not count. Money you pull from a traditional IRA or a Roth does not count. Your investment income, your dividends, your interest, your annuities, none of it counts. Veterans benefits, military and government retirement, those don't count. And most rental income doesn't count either. Notice the pattern there. None of that is pay for work you did this year. It's money you already earned and set aside, or money your savings are making for you while you sleep. That's why Social Security leaves it alone. The earnings test is about a paycheck, not about your nest egg. Let me show you why this matters so much. Imagine you earned $24,000 in wages this year, and on top of that, you pull $20,000 out of your 401k to live on. So $44,000 hitting your bank account, total. You'd look at that and think you're way over the limit, right? You're not. Only the $24,000 in wages counts. And $24,000 is under the limit of $24,480. So nothing gets held back. You get every single check, and you've still got your $44,000 to live on. Sit with that for a second. How many people do you think are scared to touch their own retirement savings because they think it'll cost them their Social Security? It won't. That money is yours. You already paid the taxes coming or going, and pulling it out doesn't move the earnings test needle 1 inch. Go use it. And if you're self-employed, earnings means something very specific for you, and it's not what most people assume. It can save you a real chunk of money. I'm getting to it. Hang on. Now, the year I told you about, the one where the rule bends, this is the year you reach your full retirement age. And almost nobody explains this clearly, so listen close, especially if you're 64, 65, getting close. In the year you hit full retirement age, 2 things change in your favor. The limit jumps way up to $65,160. That's nearly triple the regular limit. And the rate gets gentler. Instead of holding back $1 for every 2 over, now it's $1 for every 3 over. And it gets better still. They only count what you earn in the months before the month you reach full retirement age. Earn whatever you want from that month on. Doesn't matter. Quick note on who reaches it this year. If you were born in 1959, your full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. And most of your cohort is reaching it across 2025 and 2026, depending on which month you were born. Born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67, and you won't reach it until 2027 or after. Let me run the math for the FRA year because it looks scary and it isn't. Say you reach full retirement age in August of 2026. Your benefit is $800 a month. Over the whole year, you earn $72,000, but $66,000 of that came in from January through July, the months before you hit full retirement age. So those are the only months we look at. Take that $66,000, subtract the limit, $65,160. You're $840 over. Now divide by 3 because it's 1 for every 3 now. 840 divided by 3 is $280 held back across those 7 months. $280. And starting in August, when you reach full retirement age, full $800 a month, no limit at all, earn whatever you like. So even in a year you're pulling in $72,000, the actual holdback is $280. Read that twice. 72,000 earned, 280 held. That's the rule nobody tells you, and it's the difference between a fearful retirement and a working one. All right, let me reward the self-employed folks because I made you a promise. If you run your own thing, Social Security does not count your gross revenue, the money coming in the door. They count your net profit. What's left after your business expenses, the profit line on your tax return. So if your shop took in $60,000 but your real profit was $20,000, it's the $20,000 that matters here. That's a huge difference for a lot of people, and it's the difference between sounding over the limit and being nowhere near it. There's also a thing they call the substantial services test. It's not an everyday rule, so don't let it spook you. It only comes up in the special month-by-month test, which Social Security uses in one calendar year, usually your first year on benefits, and again the year you reach full retirement age. In a normal year in between, only the annual earnings limit applies to you. But in that one special year, here's roughly how they size up a self-employed person. More than 45 hours a month in your business, and they figure you're really working. Under 15 hours a month, you're not. In between, it depends on the kind of work. Keep that in your back pocket if you're winding a business down in the year you start benefits or the year you hit full retirement age. The rest of the time, it's just the annual number. Now, here's the question that changes this whole picture. Everything so far has been about money held back. So where does that held back money actually go? Most people assume it's gone for good, burned. They're wrong. And the math on it is bigger than you'd think. This is the part I built this whole video around. Here's what happens, and it's automatic. You don't have to file anything or ask anyone. When you reach your full retirement age, Social Security recalculates your benefit. They have an official name for it. They call it the adjustment of the reduction factor. Forget the name. Here's what it does for you. Every single month they held back a check while you were working, they now credit back to you by shrinking the penalty you took for claiming early. The result is a higher monthly check for the rest of your life. I know how that sounds. It sounds too good, and a lot of you have been burned by too good before. So I'm not asking you to take my word. This is documented by Social Security itself in their own program rules, the same manual their own staff work from. It is real. Let me trace it through with numbers. Say you claimed at 62 and your benefit was $2,000 a month, and you worked and you went over the limit by $8,000 a year. 1 for every 2 means $4,000 held back a year, which at $2,000 a check is about 2 checks a year. Do that for 5 years and you've had about 10 months of checks held back. Now you hit full retirement age, and in this example, let's say your full retirement age is 67, the way it is for folks born in 1960 or later. Social Security recalculates your benefit as if you'd claimed not at exactly 62, but at 62 and 10 months, 10 months later, which means a smaller early claiming penalty, which means a bigger check every month for life. If your full retirement age is 66 and 10 months instead, the idea is exactly the same. They just credit your held back months against your own number, not 67. Don't get hung up on the 67 in that example. The mechanism is what matters. Held back months don't vanish. They get handed back to you as a permanently fatter check. Now let me be straight with you, because I won't sell you a fairy tale. It's not a lump sum. They don't mail you a check for all of it at once. It comes back as a higher monthly benefit spread across your retirement. And it takes time to fully even out, something on the order of 12 to 15 years of those higher checks before the extra adds up to everything that was held. So it's not instant. But the money was never stolen. It was parked, and it comes back to you a little at a time for as long as you live. The longer you live, the more of it you collect. That's a strange kind of comfort, but it's a real one. That's the truth they never put on a scary thumbnail. The held back money is not gone. It is waiting for you at full retirement age. Before you go act on all this, two things people mix up, and getting them straight will save you a headache. The first one, the earnings test, the thing we've been talking about, the held back checks. That's temporary, and it comes back. That is completely different from the permanent reduction you took for claiming at 62 in the first place. When you claim early, your check is permanently smaller, by up to around 29 to 30%, depending on your full retirement age, and that part does not come back. For most of you born in 1959, it's closer to 29%. So when somebody tells you your benefit is reduced, stop and figure out which reduction they mean. Only the early claiming cut is permanent. The earnings test holdback is not. One is a price you paid once. The other is just money on layaway. The second mix-up. The earnings test is not the same as having your benefits taxed. Two different rules, two different agencies. The earnings test is Social Security holding back checks because you earned over the limit from work. Taxation of benefits is the IRS, deciding whether part of your benefit counts as taxable income based on your total income. Different rule, different office, different math. Don't let anybody blur them together because they'll scare you with one while quoting numbers from the other. And one more thing, because people keep asking and I won't leave you guessing. There's a bill floating around Congress, the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act, that would get rid of the earnings test entirely. As of right now, June of 2026, it is a proposal. It is not law. I'm not going to predict what Congress does. I'm just telling you the rule as it stands today is the rule I just walked you through. Don't plan your year around a bill that hasn't passed. So let's bring it home. You now have the working model, the real one, not the scary one. The 2026 limit is $24,480, and over it they hold back $1 for every two. Your pension, your 401k, your IRA, your investments, those don't count. Only your work earnings do. In the year you reach full retirement age, the limit jumps to $65,160 and the rate softens to 1 for 3. And whatever they hold back comes back to you as a higher check for life. And here's the cleanest part of all. The day you reach your full retirement age, this whole earnings test disappears. Gone. Earn $1 million after that if you can, and not $1 of your check is touched. So the question was never really, will they take my check? It's, now that I understand the rule, do I want that job? That's your call to make. You've got the limit, you've got the math, you've got the payback. Make the decision that's right for you, with a clear head and no knot in your stomach. Do me one favor. Send this to your spouse or your mom or dad or the friend who's been turning down hours because they're scared of this exact thing. This is the one part they're almost certainly getting wrong, and it might change what they do next year. And if you've already gotten one of those overpayment letters, go back to what I said earlier. The fix is simpler than you think. So no, they are not taking your check forever. Now you know exactly why.